Welcome to Mindful Drawing. I'm Robert, and I'll be your guide on this meditation practice that enters a space of mindfulness through the act of drawing. This week's meditation will be on the repetition of simple tasks, or the accumulation of cells or blocks into a greater whole. And we'll do that by looking at a brick. That rectangular solid that we've seen all over buildings, bridges, roadways, whatever it may be, linked together in a chain, whether that makes a flat wall, a curving arch, or perhaps the edge of a garden or pathway. I think my focus will be more on kind of that meandering, winding edge, letting the bricks turn, rotate, and adjust themselves to make a little figure and play on the page, but you can take them any way you'd like. We'll do a little warm-up, then get into a larger exercise where we really follow each block, enter a space of presence, let the breath fill us out and form each piece. Let the whole emerge from that riding of the nice oxygenation, the relaxation of the breath, and then start to fill in, connect, and see what we might find there. It's always hard to know how far we'll get in the exercise, but I think as you do them, giving yourself some time afterwards or throughout the week to continue drawing if you find it interesting, and let it unfold into a whole scene can be something fun to do. Let's go ahead and get started. So gather your supplies, establish your space, and let's draw together. And what I thought could be fun, since I was just traveling a little bit in a medieval city, is looking at that what you can contain and control with bricks, something like a little cell. So a little warm up, getting a sense of what a kind of brick or rock or stone might be for you. Some might be very sharp and crisp, others old and a little funny shaped. They don't always have to be square. But just thinking about that cell shape, we'll try to stick with it roughly as the idea of the drawing, but it can always move around. And then we'll work with ways they can combine, whether that's in making something of an arch or a wall where they stack up in the long direction, or suppose we could find any other ways of playing around with how that simple element can stack with other elements into a pattern. We don't have to worry too much about what they're really doing, just connecting cells with a little bit of space between them, and that space can eventually get a little binder, a little mortar, a little fill, and start to solidify into a boundary that separates two areas used so often. I think what I'll end up doing is kind of having them follow some kind of path circuitously like that, whether you want to draw it first or just let it unfold organically is up to you, but we might end up with some funny places where things have to make big jumps, big changes. And that'll be an area to play around with how we fill it in. But for the most part, stacking blocks along and keeping our mind and attention on how we draw each one, how we bring it next to its neighbor and look for some consistency and accept some variability in that made element that's built so much of our world around us. Taking a couple of breaths to get into the space, move the body a little bit, just lightly side to side, forward and back. Touch on the range of motion you have where you are so you can find a little bit of its limits and then settle into a center of that well-supported, even, nicely placed and ready for an exercise. And if you have some ideas of what looking down on a wall or pathway of bricks might be, feel it out on the page, retrace it a little with the fingers or hands. Or even just close the eyes, find a nice starting point somewhere where the hand feels comfortable and ready to engage. And make that first mark that breaks the emptiness of the page, drawing a little block of stone or clay. It's that simple shape that we will recognize, seen on buildings or paths roads, bridges all around us. And that first one sets up a trajectory a little bit on its perpendicular. Well, we know they can curve. Sets up a size, intensity of the page. And picking left or right, a little bit of distance between, and forming something about the same. Small variations, even to large variations, depending on how the bricks were made, will come into play. And just start adding a few, getting comfortable with the drawing space, feeling out where we are, thinking about how they might move or not. They could be straight edges of walls, or they could start to get a little bit of curvature to them by just rotating its position. One end opening up a little bit, one end closing a little bit. Don't have to worry too much about the good practice of how much a brick turns or doesn't. Just working with some shapes. We can move far or close. Each one, again, trying to stay about the same. Not getting too much longer or too much wider. But if there's some variation, especially at the beginning, as your eye gets used to it, as your hand changes position, just go with it. That brick was just made by a different person, or at a different time, with a different mold to it. And we're selecting the ones to build with that are close to each other, come on the stack that we get as we lay them out. And each piece being a little repetitive in nature, the benefit of the element easy to work with. The hand, similar shape, not too big, not too small, simple, not overly detailed or complex, but capable of assembling through the many into something that has character, figure, shape. A simple cell to play with and find some creativity. Feeling comfortable with that cell, that brick or block, we can use it now to guide some of our breathing, to soften our interface with the page a little bit. The hand knows about how to make one. Notice at first just how you're already breathing with the drawing. Maybe out of sync, it may already line up a little here and there. You notice an inhalation as I start the block, and a little exhalation as it comes to completion. Working around that space inside, the solid and outside territory. But you may have a different cadence, perhaps an inhalation between each drawing, an exhalation to start the journey of the pen or pencil around. And a little rest and pause as you inhale again and start again. And you can switch between the ways of breathing, but for a little while, picking away, noticing where you bring inhalation, where you allow exhalation, where you may hold a little bit, and finding rhythm in that. Where does the start align with your body's presence? The start of another cycle. How does the repetition of simple elements synchronize with the repetition of that necessary action of breathing in and out, coming together, a little bit of harmony to it. And if you start to reach towards the edge of the page, or just the edge of what you'd like to draw with there, you can just come back and fill in and complete and continue moving at any time, and start new paths anywhere on the page. Imagine it coming off and back in, or just finding a place again with the hand, a place to start, a focused stretch of drawing, bringing together that cycle of breathing you find in, moving out, pausing throughout the whole rhythm, and finding that first new brick, first new block. Drawing the same, or if you'd like to play around, draw different. I'll keep them all the same, a consistency of material. Breathing in as I start a round block, allowing the exhalation to come to completion, and that pause at the bottom of the breath. A chance to make a little decision and move to the next place. A little bit of rotation, a little bit of spacing, but most things stay the same. The bricks all similar, picked up off the pile, breathing in, placing it down, exhaling it into its exact position. And taking a couple of minutes in quiet to really focus on the sound of the breath that goes with that rhythm, hearing the inhalation, hearing the exhalation, hearing them as the movement of the pen or pencil, hearing them as the drawing, and being present with it for a time. An intense focus on the breath. We probably breathe a little more deeply, a little more fully, getting a lot of oxygen in there, and waking up all our cells, energizing them, but also from time to time we need to take a little break from that, breathe at a normal pace, let the body normalize its own internal systems. And we can go back in and use that anytime as a guide, a way of getting into some relaxation, just being very present, tracking along with the things in the drawing. Or we can let it get us started and then work our way into a natural movement rhythm, drawing a few more blocks, forming out some of that space contained on either side, inside of the space of the block or outside of it. These pathways, retaining walls or walkways, whatever they may come in your mind, can keep growing forever, filling out new territories of space and creating new opportunities for holding side or the other. And just draw a few more, resting in that cycle of breath that the body has built up. Choosing to focus in more to the breath, or focus out more to the drawing and let the breath find its path along with it naturally. Giving some shape to your own practice, your own feel, the time and need for energizing or relaxing. And continue just keeping the paths going, moving around in space, simple cells, stacking, linking together and chained, forming greater configurations. We may begin to see potential patterns and movements in, guiding that shape or pattern around the page. Trying to stay present, not get too ahead of yourself in making them, letting each block do its work. Or shift a little bit if the page is getting full, the area is dense, and start to connect them together, bring that fill, that mortar, that joining between them. I think I'll stick with the pen for that, but if you have a pencil or something handy, that could work nice too. Or just finding a way to get a little material to bind the space between each block. Go somewhere out towards the edge, fills all the gap, glues them in place a little bit. A little loose or a little tight in terms of the density of line, all up to you. Just represents another material, another state between things, a way of inhabiting that space formed between solids, closed object of the block, a rectangle. Changing the way we're using the pen or pencil, bringing a little novelty into the experience after a lot of repetition. You start to notice how the hand reacts. Maybe a little sporadic, excited at first, moving kind of quickly. Maybe it wakes up things that have been sitting for a while, challenges the way the hand got used to emotion. Whatever it may be, and noticing change, the presence of mind to feel, see, sense how things adapt, modify their behavior to new condition, how technique transforms. And the breath settled in nicely from the exercise, the attention to it. Now we're riding its waves, moving however you're enjoying the interaction between blocks, between cells. Moving the hand at a pace just glides with the soft inhalation and exhalation of your presence there in space. Even if we're fully tuned out, still move in and out of our space with the breath, unavoidable to our being there. The thing that can bring us the most connection to our presence. We hear it. We see our body rise and fall a little bit, subtle movements. We feel the expansion, contraction of our rib cage. We feel the movement of clothing as our body, skin move from that change in position. We feel the air current move lightly across our skin. If we listen closely, we hear the rustling of each breath. A slight difference in the sound of inhalation, a little more of a rush, a compression into the nose, the whoosh of an exhalation, an escape of air more quickly, maybe a bit of a whistle if it moves across a closed mouth. And if we really go into our senses, maybe we can taste that air a little bit, the difference of it moving in, cooler from the outside or warmer, depending on your environment, and heated, circulated through our system, adapted to our internal conditions as it moves back out, almost as if nothing's there, but perhaps a little more humidity from inside the body. All the senses engaged in that simple required act of breathing in and out, replenishing and cleaning our internal air supply. And technique or the action of the hand may drift into the background with that focus on all the senses, but it keeps moving along. The eyes, giving it a little bit of guidance, and maybe it gets a little wobblier, maybe it gets a little more precise. Sometimes get in our own way of trying to meet something, and the eye and the hand can do it on their own. And we're just riding those waves of the breath, gently pulsing at the rhythm that our body needs, the rhythm that we want to give it. Take a little bit of time, a minute or two, just in that space, enjoying it, noticing it, being present with it, and letting the drawing continue to unfold through it. So much of what we do in life, the little things to the big things, getting something done, getting better at something, or just showing up. Just like the bricks, they happen one step at a time, one block, one day, one repetition. Each repetition recorded by the mind, by the memory, by the muscles, whatever's engaged in it, building a little bit more connection to that action or engagement, whether that's a practice, something like meditation or exercise, that skill, drawing, instrument, cooking, whatever it may be, we're working towards a project at work. Can't all happen at once. Do each part every day. They build up. And some things happen on very long cycles. Easy to lose them, to lose the whole of the goal in the repetition and monotony of the day. Maybe from time to time doing a few things that have quicker results as a reminder that they all build up to showing up, putting down the next block, putting the integration, the mortar between it, gradually forming it into a whole. We'll get there. So maybe drawing can be quick. Maybe learning to cook your favorite dish. You'll get a little better each day, and each time it's still fun to eat. Finding those little daily practices that reinforce the good practice of the bigger ones that we do through our whole life. And as we approach the end of the exercise, there's still a lot of space on the page, a lot of opportunity to continue drawing and playing. Some of these spaces in between could start to turn into a cobbled path, a grassy knoll, a place of plants or flowers growing, a lake, an edge, a pool, anything that we start to see there. And maybe if you have some time, coming back into the drawing between the weekly exercises and just adding a little bit, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, breathing into it, seeing where they go over the course of several days. Be a fun practice. Knowing at any time you can put it down and bring the pen or pencil to rest. The drawing is recorded. It is what it is and where it is, and will be there the next time we come to it. You can build it up just like anything else, one interaction at a time. As you bring your pencil or pen down, take a moment just to come back into your whole self, into your space. Maybe move around a little bit, make sure everything is reconnected and aligned, working back together. Give the hands a little grasp to each other to wake up the hand that wasn't working, to soothe a little bit the hand that was. A couple of nice full breaths, just to make sure you feel that whole position your body can take to really refresh it after that time of working and getting a little extra relaxation out of the cycles of the breath. The paths winding through the page, each block just about like its neighbor, occasionally a little stretch, a little shrink, a little taper, maybe a flake knocked off during transportation or whatever it might be that causes each brick to be kind of the same and a little bit different. On a recent trip to Belgrade, Serbia, a lot of brickwork built up over many years by many different people, different times, access to materials. You get big ones, small ones, wide ones, skinny ones, stone ones, clay ones, all mixed together a little bit and creates a bit of a tapestry, a fun meandering through history that also allows us a path to meander through, holds back the earth to grow grass up on the hill or whatever it shapes as part of a ancient city center. I hope you can find in the exercise, through that repetition of action, that bringing the mind into just a single moment, a moment of quiet forming of something there on the page, that simple element, the brick, the cell, an interesting expression of the whole. The thing that might draw you into a narrative. What could be happening here? What do these bricks shape or form? Maybe a little pool, a couple of knolls of grass, a flower bed here or there, or even a pathway, a place to walk on, made out of another material, maybe cobbles, funny blocks, different shapes, or more modern material, concrete or asphalt poured in there, just a gravel, little dotty path, and let the thing slowly grow over time into your own little whirl of expression. Whatever you found, I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you liked the exercise, share with your friends, and join every week for more episodes of Mindful Drawing. This is Brooks is Fun signing off. Draw well. Thank you.